Notice in Psalm 78, verses 3, 5, and 8, notice that key word where it says, fathers. 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 The greatest need in America is for fathers to be spiritual fathers in their homes. Some interesting statistics I've come across recently that might catch your eye. Wade Horn from the National Fatherhood Institute said in 1960, 5.8 million American kids lived in single-parent homes. That number has now more than tripled, in fact quadrupled, to close to 25 million. 25 million families. Another figure is equally startling. Nearly 40% of our children don't live in the same home as their own biological father. 40% and more. He said this is a disturbing trend of our own time. Furthermore, he went on to state that there are now 1 out of 3 or less babies in America who are born to unmarried women. An over 600% increase since 1960. He said the evidence is overwhelming. Children need a father and a mother. Not a mother and a mother, not a father and a father, but a father and a mother. Especially a father. Even the evolutionist, anthropologist Margaret Mead made this comment after observing mankind in different societal situations. She said, the supreme test of any civilization is whether it can socialize men by teaching them to be fathers. Fathers are the absolute crucial need for the perpetuation of healthy civilizations, how much more spiritual civilizations as well. Furthermore, in his insightful article, he said, if we reestablish fatherhood as a national priority, we will improve the well-being of children, communities, and our nation. Even our own societal evaluations see the absolute need for fathers taking the reins with godly masculinity and leading their homes, providing physically for their families and spiritually, the Bible says, as well. Cotton Mather, great forefather, the founding of our nation, said this: families are the nurseries of all societies and the first combinations of mankind. Well-ordered families naturally produce a good order in other societies. When families are under an ill discipline, in other words, they're not structured biblically, all other societies being therefore ill-disciplined will feel that error in the first concoction. Overwhelming. There's been many powerful things written in recent years by conservative think tanks on the absolute necessity of fathers. I've got many books in my library about recently, scanning them, looking at key points in them. One man named Blankenship, who spoke at the Mississippi Center for Public Policy that Grant Callen's involved with. I heard him speak there a couple years ago, and he's written a book on the disappearance of fatherhood in our culture. It's overwhelming. Of the absolute bankruptcy in our culture where fathers have completely abandoned their obligation. You know, it's always amazing to me, our government, even in this political season, keeps pointing to the need to dump money into the failing educational system, but they never address the disintegration of fatherhood in our nation. It's like it's a taboo issue. They don't want to address the whole-scale collapse of fathers in our culture. You show me homes where fathers are providing both spiritually and domestically their duties in the home. I'll show you a good study environment. I'll show you balanced emotionally, that is, children who are balanced emotionally, who feel loved, who feel secure by fathers loving their wives, and feel the overall weight of that God-ordered environment. And I'll show you advancing academic scores. But they won't touch it, see? Because the government wants you to nurse at its breast. But that's against God's will. Thank God for the Puritan forefathers. One of them said this: the family is to endeavor to be a church, both in regard of its persons and exercises, admitting none into it but such as fear God, and laboring that those who were born in it might be born again unto God. Our nation was founded by men of that conviction. Furthermore, they viewed family life as enormously important. Furthermore, they went on, they said, a family is to be the seminary of church and state. And if children be not well principled in the home, everything societally will miscarry. One of my great heroes of church history, J.H. Merle d'Aubigné from Geneva, Switzerland, made this comment about family worship. He said this about 1680. My brethren, is there an altar in your hearts erected to the only living and true God? Are you the temple of God, and does God's Spirit dwell within you? So long as there is no altar erected to God in your souls, there can be none of the same in your homes. Fathers, everything comes back to the father. Will he shepherd his own family, Monday through Saturday especially? Will he say, by God's good providence, I have a believing wife. By God's mercy, we have children given to us as gifts from God for a temporary time. Therefore, my primary responsibility, more than physically providing, is that I shepherd and reach every one of the never dying souls in my home. Even when your children leave the home, they never are to be discarded. Well, they weren't Christians in the home. Well, whatever happens, they're adults. No, we must continue to build bridges. Pray, reach them, cry out for God to save them. Never give up in seeking to gather them into the fold of the believing home.